Hey friends, summer's here and we're enjoying all the extra family time and making good use of these longer days. You can hear the lawnmower going right now. While we're in this mode, it's easy to say, let's just go out for dinner tonight. That is, until we get to the restaurant and we see the long wait times and the sky-high menu prices. Tonight, I'm sharing some restaurant quality summer dinners that you can easily make at home and you can even afford to feed the whole family. Tonight's side is going to be a veggie baked macaroni and cheese. I'm starting with a base of just this boxed white cheddar and black pepper macaroni and cheese. This comes from Aldi. This is a 12-ounce box, just cooking it according to the package directions. And I have just a couple things that I need to get prepped before we start sauteing everything. I've got just a few little broccoli florets and some diced onion. Before we get too far into cooking, I want to take a minute and share with you a game I've been playing. It's called Merge Restaurant. It's one of those merge two games where you combine two like items to create a new item, which then you'll combine with more new items, and so it continues. The storyline is focused around the main character, Mina. Her mentor has asked her to come and work in his restaurant. When she gets there, he's nowhere to be found and the place is a wreck. We help her rebuild and reopen the restaurant for business. While playing, you can unlock all kinds of new themed restaurants like an American diner, beach barbecue, and more. You'll discover new dishes by merging ingredients, help Nina overcome her rival, and follow her storyline to find new places and new recipes. My daughter Maddie's been telling me that I would really love playing a merge game, and she was right. It's such an easy and fun game to play. It's perfect for unwinding from a long day or just taking a quick break. Best of all, it's a free-to-play mobile game. I'll have a link in the description box where you can download it for free and start enjoying Merge Restaurant today. Now let's get back to dinner. I've got about, a teaspoon of butter melting in my skillet. Got my little bacon grease cup out of the fridge. I'm going to throw a little spoonful of that in here as well. My bacon that I'm using was cooked outside earlier this morning on the Blackstone. So if you cook your bacon inside in the skillet, do leave your grease in here for this. It makes it really good. I am going to get my onion in here. And I've got about a cup of fresh broccoli here. I try to cut it up kind of small because that's sort of how I like it. I'm also going to toss in just a little bit of garlic. I'm just going to saute this up here about 5 minutes to get it nice and softened up. Now, a lot of times I put asparagus in here. You can use both. You can use broccoli and asparagus. This would be great with squash and zucchini, now that that's starting to come in the garden. But really, you can use anything you want in here. Once you get your onion and garlic sauteed up a little, I'm going to take a handful of mixed vegetables. Just going to put those in. You could use peas and carrots or whatever kind of frozen veggies you like. I just think the frozen does good in this. And you're just going to get these softened up and sauteed in here as well. It's a good way to use up bits and pieces of stuff you've got left too. I've got my veggies turned off. They are sauteed perfectly. Now we're going to take this macaroni and we're going to stir all this together. Most of the time when I make this, I put it in like a little casserole dish and top it up and bake it. But you know what? I'm going to do it all in the skillet tonight because that's just one less dish for me to wash. And my skillets are oven safe, so I can do that. One time I had some leftover like breaded chicken tenders and I cut them up and put them in here, and it was a big one dish dinner, and that was really, really good. And also, this original recipe calls for the Bob Evans microwave macaroni and cheese. It calls for 2 20-ounce containers of that. That's just too much. I mean, if you wanted to make a huge meal out of it, yes. I've got a big fistful of bacon that Patrick cooked up this morning, and I'm just going to cut this up into kind of big chunky pieces. We're going to mix a little bit of it in, and we're going to put a little bit of it on the top. And it's a little well done in spots, but you know what? Don't you worry about it. It'll be just fine. Also, I have used the little bagged bacon bits in this recipe before. They work really good too, but there's nothing like a big old, chunk of big hearty bacon. Now, if this isn't decadent enough, we're going to take a handful of mozzarella cheese. Actually, there's just a little bit left in this bag, so I'm just going to use it all. Listen, put some bacon over it. Kind of smush it down in there a little bit. Oh, this looks good already. Oh, about forgot something. Dad, do you want me to put that crunchy topping on the top of this? Or do you just want it like this?
Yeah, you said it. Use the crunchy.
Do the crunchies? Okay. We're going to put a topping on this. Hang on. So I've got a little bit of panko breadcrumbs and just a little bit of butter I melted. And I'm just going to kind of stir this together. I may need a little bit more butter. I'm just eyeballing it. That means literally, I'm just guessing. But this is not in the original recipe. But one day I was making it and I just felt like it needed this. And we pretty much always put this on top of it now. Okay, I'm just going to use my hands. And I am just going to sprinkle this little topping we made right over here. Doesn't have to be completely covered. But I love a crunchy topping. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. Here it is, straight out of the oven. Best served like that. I don't ever get tired of this dish. Now on to the prep for our main dish. It's a dish that Chili's used to serve. It's Monterey chicken. It has always been my favorite. Got my really big skillet out for this. It's my two-hander. Gonna heat up some olive oil in here. It's good and hot. Gonna have to talk loud over my chicken here. I'm gonna season it up with a little anti-no-nos. This is salt, onion powder, and garlic powder. I'm also gonna crack a little black pepper over the top of it. You can just use salt and pepper. And I'm just going to cook this through. I like to use thin chicken breasts because, number one, we're starving and they cook really quick. But these are super thin. I bought these already thin sliced, and they're very thin. And I'm going to season up the other side just like I did this one. If this chicken will hush, I'll show you the rest of this recipe. I did temp this one piece. The rest of them, I swear I've never got thin sliced chicken breast that was that thin. Look at this one. It's just like a piece of one. But what I'm doing now is just pouring a little barbecue sauce over each one. I am using this Kinder's mild barbecue sauce. We've really been enjoying that. Use whatever you have or whatever you like. I'm just going to spread it out here across these. And I have this skillet turned off. These are just really good skillets and they hold the heat well. I always have trouble cooking in this bigger one anyway. I'm just used to my little medium size. I like cooking in it. Now I'm just going to cover these with some shredded Monterey Jack chicken. Hence the name, Monterey chicken. But it'd be good with whatever you have. Now I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. Just going to put this in for about 3 to 5 minutes. It's fully cooked. We're just wanting to melt that cheese. Now's the time where you take all that yummy bacon, put as much or as little as you like on top. I think at Chili's they used to use big strips. Then I'm going to top it with our little Roma tomatoes and those yummy green onions. I absolutely love Monterey chicken. Who needs to go out when you can make this great dish at home? The combination of the barbecue sauce and the cheese is yummy. And this veggie mac is a perfect side. Patrick said he was tired of me making broccoli with everything. So here we had the best of both worlds together. I absolutely love this. This is as good as any meal that you can get out. For our second meal, we're going to do a fancy little steak and potatoes with a twist. And again, I'm starting on the side dish first. I've got some potatoes here that I've just washed up really good. I'm going to dry them and let's get them in the oven. I just lined a baking sheet with some foil for easy cleanup. but I am going to give it a good spray. Last thing I want is for my potatoes to stick. This is so simple. I'm just going to rub each one of these little potatoes down with oil. Then we're going to roast them. These are a little bit bigger than the little mini ones that I'm going to pin you a recipe for. But I've done big, little, small, all of them in between. And it's basically the same concept. I'm going to bake these in a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes. I'm going to let them cool till we can handle them a little bit. Then we're going to slice them up and take the insides out and mush it all up with some goodies. You guys will have to bear with me. I'm not the most finesse person. If you've been here, you know that. But I just take a little knife and kind of go around the center. Then I'll take a spoon and start scooping it out. You just want to be careful and leave plenty of kind of meat around the outside, like right there I went through. These are the potatoes that have like a really thin skin, but it will be fine. Now let's work on our filling, and I'm just going to mash that up just a little bit. These are all the insides of our potatoes that we scooped out. Let's throw in some butter. That looks like about a tablespoonful. I'm going to sprinkle in some of these real bacon pieces. I've used all my bacon in yesterday's recipes. I'm going to throw in a handful of cheese. Maybe just a little more. I'm just going to take some heavy cream and I'm going to pour, a couple tablespoons in maybe. We're just doing it by feel. That feels pretty good, so I'm just going to crack in a little bit of black pepper. You could definitely just use salt, but I'm going to use a little bit of anti-no-nos, and it is salt, but it also has garlic and onion powder because I just think that makes them extra good. Just going to put a little bit more cream in here. Now we have this mixed up nice and fluffy. I'm just going to taste test a little bite. That's perfect. Now we're just going to fill these up like giant deviled eggs. Giant potato deviled eggs full of cream and bacon and cheese. And just like deviled eggs, I always start out kind of just level at the top. Want to make sure everybody's got at least a good amount. Then we'll come through and give everybody an extra good amount. And I'm going to put these back in the oven under the broiler just till they're nice and bubbly. I have Ryan here with me tonight for family dinner night. If y'all are new around here, Ryan is my oldest daughter Callie's fiance, and he is the finesse king. It's getting ready to go. Whoops.
The finesse king.
That was me. He's the finesse king. He's going to do all the little prettying up of our twice baked potatoes. Ryan is a wonderful cook and an even better baker, and he's always good to come in and make my things look so much nicer than they actually do. Isn't that right? Did you do that with my family? You make us look a lot nicer than we are, don't you? Oh, that looks so good. They're like little miniature potatoes. Well, they are miniature potatoes. I mean, they're like miniature baked potatoes. And really, you can do this with the little smaller potatoes, and it's super cute. Like, they're just a little appetizer bite full. But I had, like, white potatoes, or not necessarily new potatoes. I don't know what they were, but they were, like, medium-sized. I like these because you don't have to, like, peel them if you're going to fry them or even mash them. The skin's really soft. So it may not be the best for this, but they look delicious and they smell wonderful. Meanwhile, Patrick worked on the steaks. He used this Kinder's wood-fired grill seasoning. He's getting the grill hot and greasing it up. He likes to use this Wagyu beef tallow. And if you like this little handy spatula holder, I found that on Amazon. That was part of his Father's Day, and it is adjustable. I have it linked in my storefront if you're interested in that. It's very handy. He has one side of his grill hot, 430 so degrees. Then the left side of the grill, he has it at a lot lower temperature. And he's putting the steaks on the lower temperature side first, and he's doing kind of a reverse sear. I had the oven kind of occupied in here, so he couldn't start them off low and slow inside. So he did that outside on the Blackstone. Then once he gets them, cooked pretty good through, he's going to move them over to that really hot side and sear in all those juices and flavors. Get it nice and brown on the outside and get that sear that everybody loves. Everybody likes to go out for a big steak dinner. I thought we would fancy ours up tonight at home with a black creamy peppercorn sauce. So I'm going to take a few of these peppercorns right out of my pepper mill, and I have them in a little baggie, and we're going to crush them up. We only need maybe 2 teaspoons full. And instead of pulling out my big rolling pin, I just grabbed this big jar of Lipton instant tea to crush these up with. Steaks are all done, so I am going to start on this creamy peppercorn sauce while they're resting. I'm starting with 1/3 cup of apple juice. I'm going to simmer this apple juice pretty hard for about a minute. This recipe calls for either cognac or brandy, but this ain't Days of Our Lives or The Young and the Restless. We don't have nothing like that here. So I am just using apple juice. If you had like a red wine, I'm sure that would probably work too. I'm also going to put in 1/3 cup of beef broth. And that was not low sodium, so it is going to get saltier as we reduce this. So I'm also going to put in 1/3 cup of water. Now that I have the beef broth in here, I am going to simmer this really hard till it reduces down to about half of what it is right now. Now that I have it reduced, I'm going in with 1/2 cup of heavy cream, and I'm just going to stir this through here. I cut my heat down quite a bit because you don't want this to boil rapidly. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of that peppercorn that I mushed up really good. We're going to stir that in. I'm not using just a whole lot because that might be kind of spicy, but just get a little bit of that flavor in there. This is my first time ever making this. I don't know if we're going to like it or not. We'll definitely try it, but yeah, we're about to find out. Well, I don't know about this sauce, but I know me and gravy, and mine always gets thicker as it sets. So we'll give it a minute more. I was the only one brave enough to douse my whole little steak in the peppercorn creamy sauce, and I thought it was really good. It gave it a really different taste. You could taste the apple juice, the sweetness in it, which was really nice, and just a little bit of the pepper. It was a nice change. It tastes fine. I thought it was good. Everybody tried it and said it was good, but I guess the consensus here was that they just like their steaks regular, like they like them, with a little steak sauce. Of course, the little potatoes were delicious. I don't know why I didn't get you any live footage of that, but they were scrumptious. Don't forget to check the description box for all the information to download Merge Restaurant. You're gonna love it. It is so much fun and it's free to enjoy. And friends, the kitchen's closed for the night. If you enjoyed your meal here with me, give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to tip your waitress on the way out. And remember, I always send you love from my kitchen. See you next week. Once you get that softened up a little bit, I'm taking some I can't say that. Now we're going to take this macaroni. Oh gosh, that's heavy. It's good and hot. Maybe too hot. I'm going to bake these in a 400-degree oven. You know, the oven. The oven, you know, the oven.